All right, welcome back to another video on my entrepreneurial journey. One video every Thursday, completely raw, no cuts, no edits, just like usual. Today, I want to be talking about a little bit in depth about my journey and how I made the development from working my 9 to 5 to actually becoming an entrepreneur, now growing my business, scaling, and actually living true to myself, which is something I want to be talking about in this video, and how I would encourage people out there to make that transition in their lives, be it if they are looking to become a full-time athlete or a full-time entrepreneur or whatever age or stage of their life they're in. Obviously, everything is going to be very, very specific to you and your current situation, but I thought I'd just share a little bit into my journey and how I think that you can actually make that development into becoming a person who is free from acting under other people's interests. I now have a day-to-day life where I only do what I want to do. I know what I need to do and I know what I want to do, but obviously I act out of being true to myself, right? I can wear what I want to wear. I can work when I want to work, compared to when I'm energized, and how my circadian rhythm and energy levels fluctuate. Just living true to myself, right? And I think there's a lot of people out there that actually can't live true to themselves, or just simply are feeling a certain way, maybe feeling low or overwhelmed or whatever it might be, because they can't live true to themselves, and because they're maybe caught up in jobs where they're not deciding their own time or whatever. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to work a 9 to 5 at all, but I'm just saying that you got to analyze if you really are living true to yourself, and if you are one of those people that want to make that development and haven't done so. Well, I'm very glad you are watching this video, because that's exactly what I want to be talking about, for the people out there who either have taken the leap but aren't truly living true to themselves yet, or the people who haven't taken the leap yet and want to do it and are a bit unsure on how to do it, what to do. And I just want to talk about my previous experience and kind of tell you what I was feeling and how I did it. I'm obviously still on my journey, which is the reason why I've also made this channel, right? But overall, it takes me back to when I was working my 9 to 5, in May of 2022, when I eventually quit my job fully. And that was a big development, right? In May 2023, sorry, that's when I officially kind of quit my job. And I've talked about this on the channel before, but what really led up to that was this constant feeling of wanting more, right? This fire inside me, this dissatisfaction over something that many people would be satisfied over, which was a comfortable job, stable income, living in my own apartment, really coming home to a girlfriend, everything being very secure and safe, but still this part inside me that really wanted more, right? That felt like, okay, I'm healthy, I'm young, I feel like I can do more, influenced by people around you in the space that has done very well. And that kind of led me to take that leap, right? So it almost came out of kind of that fire, and really knowing that I had to take some drastic action to really reach some drastic results, right? And that really stresses the fact that when you're trying to go down a different path than, let's say, the majority of people out there, you need to be putting in different input, right? Input and output. So if you're putting in the same input as everyone else, well, you're probably going to get around the same output, more or less. But if you want to take that leap and really make sure that you can now live true to yourself, if you feel like that you are not, then you're going to be putting in some different input, right? And I felt I was not living true to myself. I felt like I had this fire of really wanting to be an entrepreneur, really wanting to grow my own business and challenge myself. So that's what I really did. And I know that it would take drastic action. It would take different input, right, to really get some different output. And that's kind of what I did, right? Around May 2023, April, and March, pretty much 1 full year ago now, was when I actually took that serious leap into the unknown of actually running my own business, right? I'd run my business before that as a side hustle, but that was when I really knew that I had to take drastic action. So what I essentially did was that I looked at my savings, and this is a thing that I think everyone out there should analyze for themselves as well, right? Obviously, I had some savings. Traditionally here in Denmark, you go through your teenage years, and there's like a traditional party when you are being confirmed in your faith, and that in Denmark, at least follows with a party and there's a lot of family and you kind of get a lot of gifts, right? And you get a lot of money typically. And I got a lot of money, and many people do that. Put it in my savings, and eventually I had a lot saved up, right? I was young, and it's meant to be this buffer into your adolescence. And for me, I was just looking at my savings, and I was working this comfortable job, and I did the math of where that would get me in 2, 3, 4 years with some promotions and some increase in responsibility. And it's not really where I felt I could take it myself. So, and when looking at my savings, many people are just very protective of that because it's financial security, and obviously, yeah, you got to be able to take some risk to really get some reward. The essence of risk really means that something is valuable. If something wasn't connected with any sort of risk, it would never be valuable, right? There's always risk to the things that are most valuable. The stories that are most valuable and most intriguing are the one that are associated with some sort of level of risk, right? And if you want something that is down that path that most people don't work or walk, it's probably because it's associated with a level of risk, right? That's why it's valuable. So I looked at my savings and I was like, okay, this is a fraction of what I believe I'm going to be earning when I look 5, 10 years down the line. So why not just blow it now, and not blow it as in just throw it into designer and parties and all these things and travels, but spend it on what I believe would be the highest leveraging action towards getting closer to the person I wanted to become. Some young people in especially Denmark, they go travel, right? They go travel and see the world, and I guess that's some form of development as well, right? But for me, I kind of just sunk it all into the best coaches across Europe in digital wealth creation, mindset, personal development, building a kind of online wealth creation setup for yourself. And I had dabbled in that, as I told you, very much previously before, but that was kind of the big leap. And that was also where suddenly things started to change, right? When you quit your job while living in an apartment, there's a lot of risk in that. I was now living off my savings while I was spending my savings on high ticket coaches. So I was putting my back against the wall, right? It became risky. It became something where you had to perform. You had to challenge yourself, right? And there's good challenges and there's bad challenges. So you need to analyze, is this going to push me towards becoming the right person so I can live true to myself? And I knew that for a fact. That's why I did it. And that's why I'm now 1 year down the line, I'm in a completely different situation with me as a person and my business, because I was pushing and challenging myself in a good way. Sometimes you learn where the boundaries are when handling clients, when doing outreach, when working a set amount of hours a week, but then you just adapt from there. But the first and most important step is taking the first step into this world here. And there's a lot of people out there that will hold back from taking that first crucial step that will actually open up a new world. The day I invested into my first coaching programs and I quit my job, a new world opened, right? But there's a lot of restraints. There's a lot of things holding you back from taking that first step. That's why it's the hardest step, right? It's like telling your parents and your associates and your peers and your brothers and sisters and your friends, that especially your friends, that you're going to be going for this, right? It's a very hard step because in some cultures it's almost looked a little bit down upon to kind of go for that and become independent. But it's the most important step, and that's why it's also the most difficult step, because it opens up a new world for you. I know how Max before May of 2023 looked upon things, but I knew that I had to take that step, and I was almost prolonging it, right? And it just created this satisfaction deep inside me that I wasn't taking the step I knew I had to take. But there is a lot of things and a lot of social circles and social dynamics that makes it difficult for you to break out. If you're in high school in Denmark, it's very atypical to kind of break out of that social circle. It's very not looked down upon, but you're going to be an outsider just to some extent, right? Because majority of people are just working on McDonald's, 7-Eleven, they're studying and they're partying, right? But you want to be working in after school, before school, and in the weekends, doing what you love doing, knowing that's going to get you down to a place where you can be financially independent, where you can be kind of acting true to yourself, right? And a lot of people don't act true to themselves, and they simply can't act true to themselves because they are stuck in these constraints of working for someone else, not being able to wear what they want to wear on a daily basis. So So really, it's either you have the courage to really take that step, and maybe a video like this can help you realize that no one's coming to save you, right? You have kind of two paths ahead of you. When you first realize that you want to become someone of significance in that realm of being financially free with your own business, being independent, being your boss of your own time, the boss of what you wear, the boss of when you wake up, and these things. When you know you want that and your eyes have been opened to the world of digital wealth creation and being independent in 2024, which my eyes were, you can't look back, right? Then you're stuck with two decisions here. Then you're stuck with the decision of going through the pain and discomfort of actually telling it to your peers, taking that step, the uncomfortable first step. It was so difficult for me to quit my job. It was very difficult for me to tell people around me that I was investing in myself and now going full time. But after that, a world opened up to me, right? So that's the first decision you have. And the second decision you have, or the second path, is the one where you just stay quiet and meek and live with your inner drive and fire to actually become someone and be true to yourself, but you don't take action, right? And then you live with the deep discomfort and pain of knowing that you could have taken that step. So it's really, when your eyes are open, you're left with a decision of either going through discomfort and pain by doing what you know is right and being true to yourself, or going through the discomfort and pain of knowing deep inside that you didn't take the first decision of actually going through discomfort and pain associated with making the decisions of actually moving closer to the person you know you want to become. And that's what happens when you get your eyes opened. And eyes open can mean many things, but it essentially just means that you're now aware of that you're not actually doing what you feel deep inside that you want to do. It might be risky, it might be a path that no one else takes, but if you know you want to do it and you have this intuition and you have this gut feeling, you have to be true to yourself, right? Whatever the cost, because if not, you're not going to be able to show up to the people around you, right? They're going to feel on you eventually the dissatisfaction and discontentment deep inside you, and it's going to spill out to all your relations, your ability to have a meaningful life, your work, your quality of work, and then people might just take distance from you eventually if you don't take action, right? So you're doing people around you a favor and yourself a very big favor by acting true to yourself, no matter the cost, right? Obviously, we've got to be rational and make level-headed decisions financially and things like that. But if you can take a risk and you aren't in a position and you know that it's a scarier, more brave path, but it's the one I feel like my gut and my heart wants, then you have to go for it. And if not, you're living in a dream world, in some sort of lie to yourself, which will only cause dissatisfaction and discontentment in the long run. So there's really a simple way of just deciding what to do, and it's just by sitting down, being true to yourself, looking yourself deep in the mirror and saying, am I happy with my current situation? Yes or no? If not, okay, what action do I have? What can I do? Invest in myself, take some risk, put my back against the wall, amongst some of the things that really can push you to become someone that hits that next level. But be true to yourself. Understand that you are in a decision of pain or pain now, discomfort or discomfort, of doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. People that live in a more naive is maybe the wrong world, but because people who hasn't had their eyes open, they're still living true to themselves because that's what they know, right? If you now have your eyes open and you know you want to do something else, well, then you've got to act on it, just like anyone else would if they were true to themselves, right? So for me, that was really what I did. And now a year later, I haven't looked back. I've kept on developing and growing and becoming true to myself and the people around me. So, and I keep on taking those decisions of being true to myself, right? If I don't want to work with someone, I don't work with them. If I don't want to wear that, I don't wear that. If I don't want to associate with him, I don't associate with him, right? I'm living true to myself. I can tell my clients that we're not working together now because ABCD, you know, I'm kind of the boss of my own time, right? And that's truly satisfying to be able to control your own relations and the people you're involved with, which you can't do when you're working for someone else. You have to obey and you have to be an employee, right? Obviously, if you find the right circles and you are content and find someone that shares the same values, I would happily work for anyone else, right? In that sense, if I had the independence and the freedom and the value set that was the same with someone else, but I just didn't find that. And I knew that I just wanted to push myself. So that's why I did it. But you got to be real with yourself and take that step. And really, there's no one that's coming to save you. So you just got to be real with yourself and take action. It's not to be this message to be, something that shouldn't motivate you to take action. It should be the opposite, because you now know that you have to take action. This is just a reminder. If you're sitting there and knowing that you're kind of pushing that, watching YouTube or whatever, write down what you have to do and just decide if you're willing to do it or not. True to yourself or not, right? But I would always suggest being completely true to yourself no matter what. Trust that gut feeling, just go for it and things will work out in your favor. Take the risk, etc. Right? So I just want to give you that short introduction to my story again, and how I went from 9 to 5 back in 2022. 2023, I took that leap around the beginning of the year, and then completely went 100% into my business in around autumn of 2023, and now we're flying and we're scaling, right? So think of the person 20, 30 years ahead. What would they want you to do, right? That 20, 30-year-old version of yourself, who are they and what would they want you to do? Think of that on a daily basis when you're planning out your day, when you're planning out the next month, the next week. So, all right. I just want to keep this video quite simple and sweet and short. So looking forward to speak to you guys on the next Thursday. Have an amazing rest of your week, and let me know if you have any suggestions for any video topics that you'd like me to cover. Again, take care and speak soon.